I became a key worker because I worked here as an LSA for 12 years, and in some fields when you're an LSA they move you on to things that you are more suited to, and it became a fact where children were talking about things socially outside of school. That's kind of where my area was, where I'd help them. So then I got offered the job as a key worker, which is when I started that. As part of my key worker role, I am involved with all the parents of all the pupils that are in our ERP unit in the school. I ring them if they got a problem, they ring me if they got a problem. I speak to them about if their child seems different that day. I ring them and find out if there's any reason for this, and then maybe I put things in place to help that out. For example, there's a pupil today that isn't doing great because they know his mum isn't very well. So I speak to all the other staff in the morning briefing and explain to them, take it easy on his pupil today because these are the reasons. That helps the child get through a really rough day rather than staying at home, not being in school. And it helps my relationship with the child, that they know they can come and speak to me and trust me, and it helps my relationship with the parents, that they know that I can ring them, they can tell me some information. I'm not going to pass on anything I don't need to, but their child is going to be fine with me that day. Then what happens is, as a result of a parent support meeting that I set up, we have a parent support meeting once a month. I talk with the parents who turn up. Anybody's welcome. They come if they can make it. If they can't, I have a newsletter that comes as a result of the meeting. In the newsletter there's all information we've exchanged, and maybe something about the Southfield Social Club that I'll fill you in about in a bit. In the parent support, I've had speakers come in to talk about disability rights. I've had speakers come in to talk about DLA and carers allowance. I made a leaflet that lets them know about days out, places that I visited that I know is accessible to their children, because I know the pupils and I know where they can take them, where they're able to go. I've also run a social club once a month, because out of these parent support, what came shining through is that none of these children have anywhere to socialise. They want to socialise, but firstly they can't, they don't know how to, because the communication skills are not great, and secondly because the parents are afraid to even go anywhere with anybody who they don't know if they know their needs. Is it accessible to them? Is it safe for them? So I started a social club where we've had a cinema night, a disco night, a karaoke night, a McDonald's night. So they come, they socialise. I set up a shop sometimes in these social clubs that is run by ex-pupils who are now moved on to college. Also familiar faces for these pupils that are still here. Volunteering experience for those. Giving them, the pupils, a bit of power themselves so they feel wanted and needed. And then the pupils that come to the event can see this is where maybe I could lead. I could work in our shop one day. They're all excited about maybe running the shop for free. They don't mind not earning any money for it. And the kids who come, we have prizes sometimes. They love it. They love watching them, for me, bringing their own money, spending their own money out of their purse, knowing the person who's there isn't going to take advantage of them, isn't going to not give them the right change, is going to look out for them. Knowing they're safe in a school environment is brilliant, because that's how they're going to learn social skills. So when they mix in a mainstream environment, when they go to a disco with other people who are mainstream, that's how they're going to learn how to behave. In those examples, you can't teach them out of the textbook. You can't teach them out without putting them in that circumstance. They also have started travel training as a result of the new system, where loads of times in the reviews what comes out to us is that these children want to be able to catch a bus, want to be able to go and see their friends, but they don't know how to do it. They have no idea because buses are confusing. You've got to look at all the different routes, you've got to know how much money you've got to have, you've got to know where to get off, where to get on. So we have a programme in place now where they get travel trained, starting in year 10 and continuing in year 11. So they learn the bus routes to home, the bus routes to town, they learn the bus routes to college, and they learn about etiquette on a bus, about what to do if they pass the last stop, what to do, who to speak to, who's safe to talk to, who isn't. Then maybe they go on a bus and they do a bit of shopping. They're showing social skills for their life. And all the people I've spoken to as a result of travel training, it's completely changed their life. You know, it's completely... I've got one girl who didn't go out, you know, didn't go out at all. She stayed in looking after her gran. Her mum couldn't help her very much because of her predicament. And now she's travel trained. She goes out, she socialises with her friends. She goes to see her dad by herself on the bus. She goes shopping by herself. It has completely changed her life. You know, they talk about college and how scary it is going to college. And at the moment, we're in the process of making a booklet. I'm liaising with the person who's in charge of my college, and we're making a booklet to let them know the differences between school and college. Things that the everyday people will hear on the grapevine that you just automatically know about. These people don't. They don't know that there's 3 canteens in college. They don't know that they don't call the teachers Miss and Sir. They don't know that they get to wear their normal clothes. They don't know that they might have a free lesson in the day, and what do they do with that time. They don't know the structure of college at all. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know what it smells like. And for our pupils, that's really important. And so we set up extra visits. We set up a careers advisor to come to the parent support meeting to make the parents feel more comfortable about the process. We set the careers advisor to come into school more often so the children are more aware of her. And now I can see our year 9s who started this process, who were year 9s, now I think in the end of year 10, they are much more comfortable with the idea of college than if you ask the year before them. Much more comfortable because they are aware of what's going to happen, of who they're going to see when they get there and what's expected of them. So many good things have come of this. So many changes in the curriculum, changes in the behaviour of everybody around them. And the fact that the parents feel like they have someone they can ring. Last week a parent rang me just because she was extremely upset about something I had no control over, about something she had no control over, but she needed to vent with somebody who understood about the process of school, and that she was very upset about it. And when she had cried on the phone and come off the phone, she rang me back 2 hours later and she was fine. She just needed a vent to someone who she knew would be on the end of the phone. And I think without a key worker position available, without someone available to do that, it's impossible. People do those type of things. People help out. People are on the end of the phone. But you can't be if you're inside a lesson teaching. You can't be if you're inside a lesson supporting. There is no time to do that. So I think it's been vital.
How has your role impacted on the other staff that you work with?
Well, I think the role has impacted massively because they can see that now we are looking at the pupil as a whole, not just from an educational point of view, and learning that what it means educationally, if all the rest of their life is more rounded, they're going to do better academically. They're going to reach their potential then, because what you're trying to do is make you a happy, all-rounded person, and you know yourself as a person. If your life is happy and well-rounded, you're going to excel in all the things you try to do. And I think the staff can see. They also come to me. They also come and say to me, "Oh, Miss, I've noticed this pupil today. She looks different to normal. Do you want to give her mum a ring?" You know, or "I've noticed this." They often come to me and say, "This is a situation that's happening with these people. Is there anything going on there? Anything we need to know about? Or can you ring the mum and say this sort of thing?" So it's impacted massively on those. And they can see that now we're heading towards a whole-rounded person rather than just academically, you know. Mm. If you consider working with 66 pupils who are 25, age range between 11 and 16, if you consider maybe 20 of them needing travel training and organising that, and maybe 5 of them needing to learn the time, because the age is coming where they maybe all their peers know how to tell the time and they don't. So what we do is we loan a watch, we do a watch loan system, We have a time pack that goes home with them. We speak to the staff, they ask them the times for today, that sort of thing. Organising that side of things. And then, you know, there isn't enough hours in a day, that's for sure. Because to organise each individual part, the parent support group, the Sanford Social Club, all of the things that come out of this is a lot of hours, a lot of work. But really worth it. For me, personally, the change I can see in the pupils, the change I see in them, the confidence. One particular pupil who came on a course we were on this week and gave a talk in front of 40 people, maybe she'd never seen 38 of them before, and the confidence in her standing in front of that crowd and talking about what she knows that she wants and how she's going to get there was outstanding. From the timid girl that came in year 7 who didn't speak unless spoken to, didn't have an opinion, had an opinion but never voiced it, now voices her opinion when she feels it without being rude. She's a different person, and that is the biggest change. To see actual people's lives changing is massive, and from the other staff's point of view, they can see that happening too. And for that's what drives you forward. That's what makes you think, right, this is why I'm going to do this. This is why I'm going to put this in place, because this is a difference it makes to these people's lives. It isn't just making them happier in school that day. It is actually changing the path of their life, which is huge.
Can I ask you, do you work with the students in preparation for their annual review?
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit about how you
support? In our life skills lessons or basic skills lessons that we have, when our pupils are disapplied from Welsh and French, they have life skills and basic skills in a place. In basic skills or life skills lessons, depending on what suits what they're doing at that time, they come up with a personal profile about themselves, where we talk through the things that are important to them, we talk through the things that they want to do in the future, and they make a PowerPoint presentation ready for their annual review, because they lead the review. They lead it, so they are part of the whole process. And they know every time when they're given a target, they come out of these reviews, the reason this target has been made. They know this target is made because I'm saying, as a career, I would like to run my own business. Well, right now you can't tell the time, and if you're going to run a business, you're going to need to be able to tell the time. Right now I don't do anything in the house. If you're going to run a business, you're going to need to know to take the bins out, that sort of thing. So then these targets come out of those meetings, but the pupil from start to finish is part of that process, and they understand. They're not just having someone telling them, this is what you're doing because I said that's what you're doing. They know why they're learning these skills and why they're important, and then that makes them want to do them. It makes them want to learn more than before.
How have you found sort of using some of the person-centred thinking tools? What difference has that made?
Well, it's made a massive difference, because person-centred planning is exactly what it says. It's about the person, and they know it's about them. So, for example, a pupil where we did an example of what's working, what's not working, where he could see what wasn't working himself. And he could see then, they are listening to me, because look, as a result of what's not working, here is an action plan. Here's what we're going to do to change these things that are not working for me. This is what's going to happen. Another pupil who wasn't very independent, wasn't very confident, we give her an independence book. She writes in the independence book when she's done something by herself. Her mum writes in it, school writes in it. All that book is full of positive comments. She reads it, she feels proud of herself, she feels confident. They are all skills that have come out of person-centred planning. They are things that now are in place because of this new process.